In 2012, if you wanted Adobe Photoshop, you went to a store and bought it for $600. You installed it on your computer, you owned it, you could use it forever. No monthly payments, no internet required, no permission needed from Adobe. If Adobe released a new version 3 years later, you could choose to upgrade for $200, or you could keep using the version you owned. Your choice. In 2013, Adobe changed everything. They announced Photoshop would no longer be sold as a product. It was now a subscription. Adobe Creative Cloud, $20 per month for Photoshop, $55 per month for the full suite. The entire design industry was forced to switch. If you wanted updates, if you wanted new features, if you wanted support, you had to subscribe. The product you could buy no longer existed. In the first year, subscription cost $240, about half the price of ownership. Adobe marketed it as more affordable, $20 per month instead of $600 up front. Easy decision, right? But after 3 years, you'd paid $720. More than the one-time purchase. After 5 years, $2,200. After 10 years, $2,400. And you owned nothing. Stop paying, you lose access to all your files. The software stops working. Years of your work trapped in formats only Adobe can open. You didn't buy software anymore. You rented it. Forever. Adobe's stock price tripled. Wall Street loved it. Predictable recurring revenue instead of unpredictable product sales. Adobe's CEO told investors the subscription model was the future. Every software company listened. Microsoft Office went subscription in 2013. Office 365 used to cost $200 for a permanent license. Now it's $100 per year. Over 10 years you pay $1,000 instead of $200, 5 times more for the same product. Autodesk did it with AutoCAD in 2016. Used to sell for $4,000. Now it's $1,700 per year. Over the product's useful life, you'll pay $17,000 instead of $4,000. TurboTax used to be $50 to buy. Now you can only use the online version, $60 to $90 per year depending on complexity. Over 20 years of filing taxes, that's $1,200 to $1,800 instead of paying $50 once. The pattern is everywhere. Every software company realized the same thing. Ownership is a one-time payment. Subscriptions are forever payments. Forever payments make more money, and they use the same psychological trick to sell it. Make the monthly payment seem small. $10 per month sounds like nothing. $120 per year sounds reasonable. But $200 over 10 years? That reveals the trap. Most people don't calculate long-term costs. They see $10 per month and think it's affordable. The corporations know this. They design pricing to hide the total extraction. But software was just the beginning. The subscription model has metastasized into everything. Your parents bought music, CDs, vinyl, tapes. They paid once. They owned the music forever. They could listen without internet, without permission, without monthly payments. You subscribe to Spotify, $11 per month. Over 10 years, that's $1,320. How many CDs does $1,320 buy? About 90 albums at $15 each. How many albums do you actually listen to regularly? Probably about 20. Your parents would have spent $300 to own those 20 albums forever. You'll spend $1,220 over 10 years and own nothing. Stop paying, your music disappears. Netflix, $16 per month. Over 10 years, that's $1,920. Your parents bought DVDs. A movie costs $15 to own forever. $1,920 bought them 128 movies they owned. You pay $1,920 and own 0 movies. And Netflix removes content constantly. Movies you watched last year might not be there next year. The entertainment industry realized something. Selling you a DVD was a one-time transaction. You bought it, they made money once, done. But subscriptions? They make money every month, forever, until you die. And here's how they forced the switch. They stopped making DVDs. They stopped releasing content for purchase. The only way to watch new shows is subscription. You don't have a choice anymore. Ownership isn't offered. The entire economy is shifting to this model, and it's accelerating. In 2022, BMW announced that heated seats, a feature that's been standard for decades, would now require a subscription, $18 per month. The hardware is already installed in your car. You already paid for it when you bought the vehicle, but to activate it, you pay monthly. Heated seats used to cost about $500 as an upgrade when buying the car. You paid once. They worked forever. Now BMW wants $18 per month. Over 10 years, that's $2,160. For hardware you already own. That's already in your car. They just disabled it with software until you pay. Tesla does the same thing. Acceleration boost. $2,000 as a one-time fee. But it's just software unlocking hardware already in the car. They could charge monthly for it. They probably will eventually. GM announced plans for subscriptions in 2022. Hands-free driving, $25 per month. Remote start, possibly a subscription. They're testing how much they can charge for features that used to be included. Your car, which you bought and own, is being turned into a subscription device. Not because the features cost GM anything to provide, because Wall Street rewards recurring revenue. But it gets worse. Because subscriptions have spread to products where ownership is essential. John Deere makes tractors. A new John Deere tractor costs $300,000 to $500,000. Farmers buy these tractors and expect to own them, use them, repair them when they break. But John Deere embedded software that prevents repairs. If something breaks, you can't fix it yourself. You can't hire an independent mechanic. The tractor's computer locks you out. You have to call a John Deere technician. And you have to pay for diagnostic software access, a subscription. Farmers who own $500,000 machines can't repair them without paying John Deere monthly for permission. Farmers in remote areas wait days for technicians. Crops rot in fields, all because the tractor you own requires a subscription to fix. The right to repair movement has fought this for a decade. Some states have passed laws, but corporations keep finding ways around them because subscriptions are too profitable to give up. HP did this with printers. You buy an HP printer, you own the hardware. But HP introduced Instant Ink, a subscription service for ink. The printer is designed to reject third-party ink cartridges. You must buy HP ink or subscribe to Instant Ink, $5 to $30 per month depending on how much you print. The printer you bought is locked to HP's subscription system. You can't use cheaper ink. You can't refill cartridges. The printer disables itself if you try. HP turned the printer you own into a device that extracts monthly rent. People sued. The courts mostly sided with HP. You agreed to terms of service. You clicked accept without reading. Now you're trapped. This is the subscription trap. You pay for the product, but you don't own it. The company retains control through software, and they charge you monthly to use what you already bought. Let me show you how much the subscription economy extracts. The average American pays for these subscriptions monthly. Streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, HBO Max, Amazon Prime, average about $80 per month across platforms. That's $960 per year. Music streaming, Spotify or Apple Music, $11 per month. $130 per year. Software subscriptions, Microsoft Office, Adobe if you're a professional, cloud storage, password managers, VPNs. Average about $30 per month for a typical household. That's $360 per year. News subscriptions, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, local papers. Average $20 per month, $240 per year. Fitness apps, Peloton, Apple Fitness, Calm, meditation apps. Average $15 per month, $180 per year. Meal kits or food subscriptions, $60 per month for some households, $720 per year. Gaming subscriptions, PlayStation Plus, Xbox Game Pass, Nintendo Online, $15 per month, $180 per year. Phone plans, $50 to $100 per month per person, $600 to $200 per year. Internet, $60 per month average, $720 per year. Car payments, Technically not a subscription, but functionally similar. Average $700 per month, $8,400 per year. Add it up. The average American household pays approximately $1,000 per month in subscriptions. That's $12,000 per year. Over a 40-year working life, that's $480,000. Not for assets you own, for access that ends when you stop paying. Your parents didn't have this expense. They bought things once, owned them. $480,000 over a lifetime would have bought a house, 2 cars, filled a retirement account, and left money for kids. Your $480,000 gets you nothing. You rent everything. You own nothing. And when you can't afford the payments anymore, everything disappears. This is the largest wealth transfer in modern history, and it happened in 10 years, 2013 to 2023. The decade when ownership died and rent became mandatory. But here's the mechanism that makes this wealth transfer so effective. Corporations don't tell you the long-term cost. They tell you the monthly cost. They make it sound affordable, $10 here, $50 there, $20 somewhere else. You think you're spending $10, you're actually committing to $200 over 10 years. Multiply that across 20 subscriptions, you're committing to $24,000 over 10 years without realizing it, and you can't cancel. Because everything is subscription now. Cancel Netflix, you can't watch shows. Cancel Spotify, you lose your playlists. Cancel Office 365, you can't open your work documents. Cancel Adobe, you can't edit your photos. The subscriptions are essential. You need them to function in modern life. And the corporations know it. They've made themselves indispensable. Then they charge rent. This was the plan, and it came from the top. In 2016, the World Economic Forum published an article titled, "Welcome to 2030. I own nothing, have no privacy, and life has never been better." The article described a future where nobody owns anything. You rent your apartment, you rent your transportation, you rent your clothes, you rent everything. The author claimed this was liberation, no burden of ownership, no maintenance costs, no storage problems, just rent what you need when you need it. But here's what the article didn't mention. If you own nothing, someone else owns everything. And they charge you to use it. Forever. You become a permanent renter, a serf. Someone who works their entire life to pay rent to the people who own everything. The corporations saw this article as a blueprint. If they could eliminate ownership, they could extract rent from everyone forever. Higher profits, higher stock prices, permanent revenue streams, and Wall Street rewarded them for it. Companies with subscription models trade at higher valuations than companies that sell products. Adobe's stock tripled when they went subscription. Microsoft's stock soared. Netflix became worth hundreds of billions despite never turning consistent profits because investors bet on subscription growth. The incentive structure pushed every corporation toward subscriptions. CEOs who resisted were replaced by boards who understood. Subscriptions are the future. Ownership is the past. And the transition happened so fast that people didn't resist. It crept up subscription by subscription. 1 month, you're subscribing to Netflix. Seems harmless. 2 years later, you have 15 subscriptions, and you're spending $1,000 per month without noticing how it happened. Now you can't escape, because everything is subscription. Software, entertainment, transportation, tools, appliances, everything. This is the trap, and there's no exit. Your parents worked and bought things. Each purchase moved them closer to owning everything they needed. Eventually, they owned their house, their car, their tools, their entertainment. They stopped buying and their expenses dropped. You work and rent things. Each payment keeps you in the same place. You never own anything, your expenses never drop. You pay until you die. And when you die, your kids inherit nothing, because you didn't own anything to pass on. The wealth transfer is complete. What used to be owned by the middle class is now owned by corporations, and they rent it back to you forever. If this changed how you see subscriptions, if you finally understand that $10 per month is not a small cost but a permanent extraction, then you're starting to see the trap. Subscribe to this channel if you want to understand the mechanisms that extract your wealth. But recognize the irony. Even YouTube wants you subscribing. Even trying to escape the subscription trap requires using the subscription trap, because they've won. They've turned everything you own into rent, and there's no going back. You will own nothing, not because it's convenient, because they designed it that way, and you'll pay rent for the rest of your life. Welcome to the subscription economy. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.